Hi, I'm Ray Woody. I've been a member of First Baptist Church for over 50 years. I have 2 grown children and 3 grandchildren. I want to share a few thoughts about a subject that's been very important in the last couple of months during this unprecedented pandemic. That word is fear. I have reason to believe there are a lot of people living in fear these days. Fear of contracting COVID-19, fear of losing their jobs, fear of not being able to pay their bills, just fear of traveling, any number of fears. And fear can be such a crippling emotion, a tool the enemy, Satan, uses to take away our hope, to take away our joy, to diminish our trust and faith that God can and will carry us through any and all tough times. God doesn't want us to live in fear. I've never sat down and counted them all, but I've been told that there are over 80 specific uses of the expression fear not in the Bible, and over 350 instances of not being afraid. So that tells me that God is very opposed to anyone living in fear. A while back I read a devotional where someone differentiated between bravery and courage, saying bravery is the ability to take on difficult situations without fear, while courage is taking on difficult situations even when you're afraid. Remember Gideon? He was one of Israel's leaders during the period of the Judges, a terrible dark time in Israel's history. When an angel of the Lord appeared to him, Gideon immediately expressed his doubts and began to make excuses. But when God made it clear that he himself was calling Gideon, Gideon wanted a sign just to make sure. Well, after he received the sign, Gideon obeyed God and tore down the altar to Baal. But rather than doing it openly by day for fear of the townspeople, he destroyed it by night. Then he let his father defend him when the angry people came for him. Gideon was not brave. He felt inadequate for the tasks that God had given him. But we know that God saw Gideon as mighty. He even made the famous Hall of Faith list in Hebrews 11, where we're reminded that Gideon conquered kingdoms. God isn't looking for your strength or bravery or natural abilities. He wants us to rely on Him. His power is made perfect in our weakness. There are so many great verses in the Bible that tell us not to be afraid and why we shouldn't be afraid. Here are just a few. John 14:27. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give unto you. Not as the world giveth, give I unto you. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. Joshua 1:9. Have I not commanded thee? Be strong and of good courage. Be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed. For the Lord thy God is with thee, whithersoever thou goest. Psalm 27:1. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? Deuteronomy 31:6. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or tremble at them, for the Lord your God is the one who goes with you. He will not fail you or forsake you. And then, of course, 2 Timothy 1:7, where Paul says, for God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. These are just a few of the many, many references to the fear we associate with the unpleasant, negative experience with being frightened or in danger. But there's another fear. that is spoken of often in the Bible as well. And I want us to look at a few verses that relate to this fear. This fear is defined as a profound reverence and awe toward God. Here are a few of many references to this fear. Psalm 127:1. Praise the Lord, how blessed is the man who fears the Lord, who greatly delights in his commands. And there's a lot of references in Proverbs, a couple of more common ones, famous ones. Proverbs 1:7 says, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. And so Proverbs 9:10 says, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And finally, one of my favorite all-time verses in the Bible, Samuel was giving his final reminder to Israel, and in 1 Samuel 12:24, he said, only fear the Lord and serve him in truth with all your heart, for consider what great things he hath done for you. So may you all have a blessed day, and may you all stay healthy during these challenging times. Thanks for listening.